look guys, just because you do one of these tours does not mean that you're going to fall in love and everything's going to happen perfectly and little birds are going to sing over your head and everything's going to be fine. Like they try to portray it sometimes. Like when it doesn't happen that way, well, something must be wrong. This just doesn't work. Well, that's absolutely not true. You have to balance it out and compare it to real life, so to speak. Compare it to what you would do here. Okay, so if you compare it to your dating experiences here, let me ask you guys, on every date you go on, is it a 10? Is it a great date? Did everything go perfectly? Were there no problems? Did you fall madly in love and get married every time? Of course not. It doesn't happen that way. But to portray it this way, to where every time, the camera's there and someone goes on a date, and if something doesn't work right, then something's flawed with the whole system, is ridiculous, because if you take that logic, then the whole dating domestic system is flawed, right? But it's not, because dating is dating. That's why we play the game. That's why we do what we do when we go out on the dates. And not every date's going to work. Not every man is right for every woman, and every woman is right for every man. And the only way we discover that is to date. So that's why when they said, well, these 4 guys, they didn't really meet the woman they were looking for, but they're all going back. Yeah, no kidding. It's a no-brainer to go back, because the opportunity is unparalleled to anything that you're going to find here. And if you saw that video and you saw all the opportunity that those men had to meet these women who really want to meet someone, then why wouldn't you avail yourself of that opportunity? And sure, there's going to be naysayers. Oh, well, this can happen, and this can happen, and that can happen. But you know what? I can go to Scottsdale right now, which is 45 minutes from here, and this can happen, and that can happen, and this happens. And it does happen every day. So if you're going to hold us to a higher standard, then please look at what you're doing here locally. All I ask, and all I've ever asked, is to hold us to the same standard that you would hold domestic dating sites to. And if you can tell me that I can go on a domestic dating site, some of the big ones, and automatically get married and everything's going to work perfectly, then that's great. But you know what? I don't think that happens, because there's a lot of people out there that are still looking.
Constantly intrigued at how so many members of the media are just obsessed with finding whatever they can find that's dysfunctional in this process and highlight that as what would be a normal experience for the men or the women in this process. So rather than tell a story about the 30 or 40 guys who go to Odessa with us in July and have an amazing experience, meet a lot of incredibly beautiful women, fall in love, and come back either engaged or connected to somebody that they definitely feel they can move forward in this process, most members of the media, including Nightline, would rather find 1 or 2 people and chronicle their story. And if it turns out to be kind of dysfunctional, all the better, right? It's always so disappointing to see that. Then we have the interview that's occurring in John Adams' home, and quite frankly, the reference to human trafficking just completely caught me off guard. Again, I don't know why I'm surprised, because that always seems to come up. You're looking at a process, guys, where women, as John pointed out, are definitely not doing anything against their will. Quite to the contrary, they're excited to have the opportunity to meet a loving husband, and they're following all the steps that we want them to follow. They're filling out the forms, they're going to the interviews, they're paying the fees, they're doing exactly what we want people who are immigrating to this country to do. And while they're in that lack of status that is totally mandated by the process, we look at them and we say, well, you're in some kind of a danger, or you're vulnerable, or in some way you're susceptible to harm. And I think Bill Lair made some reference to a study that said that women who are being pursued by men like us have a higher susceptibility to abuse, which is completely wrong. And there's no study that says that. That study, if he had looked at it closely, would actually reveal that immigrant women have claimed higher levels of abuse, but absolutely no reference to who's doing the abuse, whether it's their immigrant husbands, their immigrant relatives, people who abused them before they came to America. It's a very generic study, and unfortunately it just doesn't speak to the truth of this whole entire experience, right? So look, there's nothing human trafficking about what we do, not at all. There are love stories that unfold every day as a result of the work that we've done for the past 16 years. There are tens of thousands of women on our website, and I've said this many, many times, the vast majority of them are never going to meet anybody unless I can convince more and more of you guys to get off your couch and get in the plane and go and meet them and create that love story for them and for yourself.
suggests you should consider expanding your horizons. Interested? Learn more at
Bangkok-women.com.
If you enjoyed this video or want more information, please like our videos and subscribe to our channel.